I want you to imagine something. You have been with someone for 6 years. 6 years of holidays together. 6 years of meeting each other's families. 6 years of building a life. 6 years of I love you. And then one Tuesday afternoon, while your boyfriend is at work, you get a message from a woman you have never heard of, and she says 3 words that will change everything. I am his wife. His wife, not his ex, not someone he used to know, not a mistake from the past. His current wife, of 4 years, with 2 children. Hi, and welcome back to Reddit Guilty Feed. If you are new here, every single video, we take the most shocking real stories from Reddit, and we break them down together. Today's story comes from r/relationship_advice. It has over 93,000 upvotes, and the comments absolutely destroyed me. The title this woman gave her post was, "My boyfriend of 6 years has a secret second family." Reddit helped me find out. I am going to call her Sara, and I need you to hear every single detail of what happened to her. Because this story does not go the way you think it does, not even close. Before we get into what happened on that Tuesday afternoon, I need you to understand who Sara is and what her life looked like before all of this. Sara is 31 years old. She works as a school teacher. She describes herself as, and I am quoting, someone who genuinely believed that if you love someone enough and work hard enough, everything else falls into place. She met her boyfriend, I am going to call him Daniel, when she was 25. He was 28. They met through mutual friends at a birthday party. She says she knew within the first hour of talking to him that he was different. He was charming, attentive, funny. He remembered details she mentioned in passing. He called when he said he would call. He showed up when he said he would show up. By every measure she had, he was the perfect partner. They moved in together after 2 years, a small apartment in the city. She helped him furnish it. He cooked dinner most nights. They had a dog together, a golden retriever named Biscuit. Sara says she used to joke with her friends that Daniel was too good, that she kept waiting for the catch. She had no idea how right she was. Now, here's the first thing you need to understand about Daniel. He traveled for work, a lot. He was in sales, high-end commercial real estate. Flew to other cities every few weeks, sometimes for 3 or 4 days at a time. Sara never questioned it. Why would she? She had met his colleagues. She had been to his work events. She had spoken to his boss on the phone. Everything checked out. Everything always checked out. About 8 months before the Reddit post, Sara started noticing small things. Daniel's phone was always face down. He had started taking calls in the other room. He seemed distracted, distant. When she asked if everything was okay, he said he was stressed about work. Sara told herself she was being paranoid. She had never had a reason to distrust him. 6 years, not one red flag. Or so she thought. Then came the Tuesday. Daniel was away on a business trip. Sara was at home, grading papers. Biscuit was asleep at her feet. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. Her phone buzzed. An Instagram message from an account she did not recognize. The profile picture was a woman. Dark hair, big smile. Standing next to a man Sara recognized immediately. Daniel. And the message said, "Hi, I think we need to talk. My name is Claire, and I am Daniel's wife." Sara says she stared at that message for a very long time. Her first reaction was not panic. It was not anger. It was confusion, because her brain simply could not process what it was reading. 6 years of information about Daniel was sitting in her memory, and none of it included a wife. She clicked on Claire's profile. It was not private. And what she found there was a life. Photos of a house, a beautiful house with a garden. Photos of 2 children, a boy around 3, a girl around 1. Photos of birthday parties, Christmas mornings, family holidays, and scattered throughout. Photos of Daniel holding the baby. Daniel at the children's birthday party. Daniel and Claire on what appeared to be their wedding day. Their wedding day, which, Sara quickly calculated, had taken place 2 years into her relationship with him. 2 years in. He had already been dating Sara for 2 years when he married someone else. Sara says she went to the bathroom and threw up. Then she came back, sat down, and replied to Claire's message. She wrote, "I think we do need to talk. How long have you known about me?" Claire's response came within minutes. 3 weeks. "I found messages on his phone 3 weeks ago. I have been trying to figure out what to do ever since." 3 weeks. Claire had known for 3 weeks, and she had spent those 3 weeks deciding whether to tell Sara. Sara asked the question she needed answered most. How long has he been doing this? Claire said, as far as I can tell, from the beginning. From the beginning. Sara and Claire stayed on the phone for 2 hours that night. Sara says it was the strangest conversation of her life. 2 women who had never met. Both in love with the same man. Both betrayed by the same man. Comparing notes. Here is what they pieced together. Daniel had met Claire about 3 months before he met Sara. They dated seriously. Got engaged within a year. And at some point during that engagement, he met Sara at that birthday party. And instead of ending things with Claire, he just kept going with both of them, simultaneously. He married Claire 2 years later, in a ceremony with 120 guests, a church, a reception, a honeymoon in Greece. Sara was at home that weekend. She thought Daniel was at a work conference in another city. He had told her he loved her on the phone that Friday night, while presumably getting ready for his own wedding the next morning. Sara says that detail, that specific detail, is the one she cannot get out of her head. Now, the business trips. Claire's house was in a city 3 hours away. That is where Daniel actually lived, with his wife and his 2 children. The business trips were not business trips. They were his real life. And Sara's apartment, the one they shared, was apparently what he told Claire was his work base in the city. A flat he rented for when he needed to stay over. He had built 2 complete lives, in 2 different cities, for 6 years, and neither woman had any idea. Sara says she asked Claire one more question that night. She asked, "Do you still love him?" Claire was quiet for a long time, and then she said, "I love who I thought he was. But I am starting to think that person does not exist." Daniel was due home from his, quote, business trip the next evening. Sara spent that entire day making a decision. She thought about just leaving, packing her things before he got home, sending a message and disappearing. But she decided she needed to look him in the eye. She needed to see his face when he realized she knew. So she sat in their apartment, waited. And when Daniel walked through the door at 7:30, she was sitting at the kitchen table, completely calm. She says he immediately knew something was wrong. He asked what happened. She placed her phone on the table, turned it face up, with Claire's Instagram profile open, and she watched his face. She says the color drained out of him in real time. His first words were, "Sara, I can explain." She said, "I know everything. Claire told me. I know about the house, the children. I know about the wedding. I know you called me the night before your wedding. She says Daniel sat down on the kitchen floor and started crying. Not little tears. Full body sobs. And Sara says she felt nothing. Not anger, not sadness, not pity. Just nothing. Like she was watching a stranger fall apart on her kitchen floor. Daniel said, I never meant for this to happen. I love you. I have always loved you. I did not know how to end it with either of you. Things just got out of hand. Got out of hand. 6 years. A secret marriage. 2 children. Got out of hand. Sara told him to get out of the apartment. He begged her to let him explain. She told him she had already spoken to Claire, that there was nothing left to explain, and that he had 30 minutes to pack a bag before she called the police. He left. That night, Sara posted on Reddit. She said she needed to write it all down because she could not process it alone. Within 6 hours, the post had 40,000 upvotes. Her inbox was flooded. Strangers from around the world were messaging her. But that is not the most important thing that happened. Because buried in the comments was a message from someone who said they recognized the story. A user reached out and said, I think I know who this is. And if I am right, there is something you need to know. Sara says she almost ignored it. She assumed it was someone seeking attention. But something made her reply. The user, who Sara later verified was a former colleague of Daniel's, told her that Claire was not the first. That before Claire, before Sara, there had been another woman, in another city, who had also believed she was in a committed relationship with Daniel. For 3 years, Daniel had done this before. This was not a mistake. This was not getting out of hand. This was who he was. Sara updated her post with this information, and then wrote at the end, I think the person I loved for 6 years never actually existed, and I do not know how to grieve someone who was never real. 93,000 upvotes, 11,000 comments. Let us go through the ones that matter most. Top comment, 31,000 upvotes from you/neverlookback_92. NTA, though that barely covers it. What this man did is not called cheating. It is called bigamy. It is illegal. Sara, please speak to a lawyer immediately. Not for revenge, for your own protection. You shared a lease, finances, a life. There are legal implications here you need professional help with. 31,000 upvotes. And this is something I do not think Sara had even considered in the moment. Because she was so focused on the emotional devastation that the legal dimension had not even registered. But this commenter is right. What Daniel did was not just morally wrong. It was illegal. Second comment, from you/teacher support, 22,000 upvotes. The detail that is wrecking me is the dog. Sara and Daniel have a dog together. A living creature they are both responsible for. And Daniel apparently has not mentioned Biscuit to Claire at all. Because Claire did not know about the dog. He has been living 2 complete lives, and the only one he was honest with was the dog. I did not expect a comment about a golden retriever to hit me that hard. But here we are. Third comment, from you/Claire should leave, 17,000 upvotes. I keep thinking about Claire in all of this. She found out 3 weeks ago. She had a choice, protect herself and say nothing to Sara. Or do the harder, braver thing and reach out. She reached out to a complete stranger. And that took courage. I hope both of these women find the support they need. And I hope they both run as far from Daniel as possible. Yeah, Claire, I keep thinking about Claire too, because she is also a victim in this. She has 2 children with this man. She built her entire life around him, and she still chose to do the right thing by a stranger. That is actually remarkable. Now the comment that made my jaw drop. From you/pattern recognition. Has anyone else noticed that Daniel's explanation was, I did not know how to end it? Not, I made a terrible mistake. Not, I am so sorry for what I did. His explanation for 6 years of systematic deception was that ending a relationship is hard. This man did not lose control of a situation. He made thousands of active choices every single day. Every lie, every fake business trip, every I love you was a choice. And his explanation is that he found breakups uncomfortable. I had to read that comment twice because it is the most accurate thing anyone said. And then one more, from you/former colleague _throwaway, which Sara later confirmed was the person who revealed the 3rd woman. He did this before. I worked with Daniel for 2 years. I watched him do this to someone else. He does not make mistakes. He makes plans. He makes plans. All right, here is where I land on this. First, Sara. Obviously NTA. Not even in the same universe as the asshole. But I do not want to spend this verdict talking about Daniel, because Daniel is not complicated. Daniel is just a bad person who made thousands of deliberate choices to deceive 2 women for 6 years. There is no nuance there. There is no other side. What I want to talk about is something Sara said at the very end of her post. She said, I do not know how to grieve someone who was never real. I have been thinking about that sentence for days, because I think it is one of the most honest things anyone has ever written on Reddit. When someone dies, you grieve the person. When a relationship ends, you grieve the future you imagined. But what Sara is experiencing is something different. She is grieving 6 years of memories that were built on a foundation that never existed. Every holiday, every conversation, every I love you. All of it was filtered through a lie. And you cannot just delete 6 years of feelings, even when you find out they were built on nothing. That is actually one of the cruelest things about what Daniel did. He did not just steal 6 years of Sara's life. He stole her ability to trust her own memory. And that is something she is going to have to rebuild, piece by piece. So Sara, if you ever see this, you are not crazy. You are not naive. You were deceived by someone who had years of practice deceiving people. And what happened to you is entirely, 100% his fault. Now, what do you think? Drop it in the comments. And tell me, what would you have done when Daniel walked through that door? Because I have thoughts, and I want to hear yours. I read every single comment. Before I go, Sara did post an update to this story, and it is a lot. I am going to cover it as a separate video very soon. So if you want to know what happened next, what Sara did, what Claire did, and what happened to Daniel, make sure you are subscribed, because that update video is coming. If you are new to Reddit Guilty feed, welcome. We post new stories every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Real stories, real reactions, real verdicts. Our very first video is linked right here. It is a wedding story that will make you equally furious. You will want to watch it. Drop your verdict below, and I will see you in the next one.